January 19, 1917. In a secure telegraph office in Berlin, a German diplomat is about to send a message that will change the course of World War I. The message is addressed to Mexico, and it contains an offer so explosive that it will eventually drag America into the Great War. But first, let's rewind. By early 1917, World War I had been raging for nearly 3 years. Germany was locked in a brutal stalemate on the Western Front, bleeding resources and manpower. The German High Command knew they needed a game changer, something to tip the balance in their favor. Their solution was audacious: restart unrestricted submarine warfare against all ships, including American vessels. But German leaders knew this decision would almost certainly bring America into the war against them. So, they hatched a desperate plan to keep America busy on their own continent. Enter Arthur Zimmermann, Germany's foreign secretary, the man whose name would become synonymous with one of history's greatest diplomatic blunders. Zimmermann crafted a secret telegram to Heinrich von Eckart, the German ambassador in Mexico. The message was extraordinary in its boldness and naivety. Germany proposed a military alliance with Mexico if the United States entered the war. In return, Germany promised to help Mexico recover the lost territories of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The telegram also suggested that Mexico should invite Japan to join this anti-American alliance. But Zimmermann had made a fatal error in how he sent his secret message. Due to wartime disruptions of Germany's own cables, the telegram had to be sent through British-controlled lines. The message passed directly through a British interception station at the tip of Cornwall. Unknown to the Germans, the British had been intercepting and decoding their diplomatic communications for months. The intercepted telegram landed on the desk of Nigel de Grey, a brilliant codebreaker in Britain's secretive Room 40. Room 40 was Britain's Naval Intelligence Cryptography Department, their most classified operation. De Grey and his colleague, Reverend William Montgomery, worked feverishly to decode the mysterious message. When they finally cracked the code, they could hardly believe what they were reading. The telegram was a propaganda goldmine, proof of Germany's plan to attack American soil. But the British faced a delicate problem. How could they use this intelligence without revealing their code-breaking abilities? If Germany discovered that Britain was reading their diplomatic mail, they would change their codes immediately. The British needed a cover story, a way to make it seem like they had obtained the telegram through other means. Their solution was masterful in its simplicity. They sent an agent to Mexico City to steal a copy of the telegram from the German embassy there. This would provide the perfect cover story for how Britain had discovered Germany's secret proposal. Meanwhile, the decoded telegram made its way to the highest levels of British government. Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour realized they held a weapon that could bring America into the war. But timing was everything. Release it too early and the impact would be lost. The British waited until Germany actually resumed unrestricted submarine warfare on February 1, 1917. Then, on February 24th, they presented the telegram to Walter Page, the American ambassador in London. Page was stunned. He immediately cabled the contents back to Washington. When President Woodrow Wilson read the telegram, he was furious. Wilson had been trying to keep America out of the European war, but this was a direct threat to American territory. But Wilson was cautious. Could this telegram be a British forgery designed to manipulate America into the war? To verify its authenticity, American officials needed to hear from the source. On March 3rd, Wilson authorized the release of the telegram to the Associated Press. The next morning, Americans woke up to headlines that shocked the nation. Newspapers across the country carried the full text of Germany's audacious proposal. Public opinion, which had been divided about entering the war, suddenly shifted dramatically. Americans were outraged that Germany would dare to plot the seizure of American territory. But the story took an unexpected turn when Arthur Zimmermann himself stepped forward. Instead of denying the telegram's authenticity, Zimmermann publicly admitted he had written it. His admission was the final nail in the coffin for German-American relations. Why did Zimmermann make such a catastrophic error in judgment? Some historians believe he was trying to appear honest and forthright in the face of overwhelming evidence. Others suggest he simply underestimated how severely his admission would damage Germany's position. Meanwhile, Mexico's response to Germany's proposal was far from enthusiastic. President Venustiano Carranza had his hands full with domestic revolution and had no interest in fighting America. Mexican officials quietly declined Germany's offer, understanding it would be military suicide. On April 2, 1917, President Wilson addressed a joint session of Congress. He asked for a declaration of war against Germany, citing the submarine attacks and the Zimmermann telegram. Congress approved the declaration on April 6th, and America entered World War I. The impact was immediate and decisive. Fresh American troops, resources, and industrial might began flowing to the Western Front. By November 1918, the war was over, with Germany defeated. The Zimmermann telegram had achieved the exact opposite of its intended purpose. Instead of keeping America out of the war, it had guaranteed American involvement. The telegram also marked a turning point in the history of intelligence and cryptography. It proved that intercepted communications could change the course of global conflicts. For Britain, the success validated their massive investment in signals intelligence. Room 40 would become the foundation for Britain's legendary intelligence services. The Zimmermann telegram also highlighted the vulnerability of international communications. Nations realized that their most secret messages could be intercepted and decoded. This led to rapid advances in cryptographic security and diplomatic protocols. Today, the Zimmermann telegram is studied as a masterclass in both intelligence operations and diplomatic failures. It reminds us how a single intercepted message can alter the trajectory of world history. The telegram that was meant to keep America on the sidelines instead brought them charging onto the world stage. And it all began with a few intercepted lines of code on a winter day in 1917.